So our company, as Gwen mentioned, is relatively new. We went public just in June of this year, and the genesis of the company is on the basis of two assets in Mexico, which were part of Mag Silver's original IPO in 2003, Gigi and Batopilas. And then in the last month, we were able to add two more assets to the company. And I'll be speaking to you about those. But in general, the theme of our company is a focus on silver assets that have the potential for being high grade and district scale. As part of the deal we did with Mag Silver is obviously our shareholder, and Peter McGaw, who is one of the founders of Mag Silver, is also in our advisory board, and really the person who's leading the exploration on our portfolio of assets. We have a strong shareholder support. About 40% of the register is institutional investors. Management owns 18% of the company, and we have about just under $12 million in cash. So let me tell you a little bit about our assets. As I mentioned to you, we have Gigi and Batopilas. Gigi is our flagship asset. And then we have, these are the two assets that came from Mag Silver. And then the two acquisitions we did recently is the La Reyna project, which is also in Mexico, not too far away from our flagship asset. And then a new project in Nevada called Medicine Springs. To give you a little bit of a sense of where we sit in terms of our comparing to some of our peers, we have, I think, from this list, companies that are good comparisons would be, companies like Kootenai Silver, Vizsla, Minorum, all companies that have silver assets that don't really have a resource yet. However, they're companies that have already showed high-grade drill intersects. They're companies that are exploring in old districts and trying to bring them back to life. You can see from the comparables, the equity space for silver exploration companies is actually quite different from gold. The companies are definitely trading at very different valuations, but also what drives the stocks is the dynamics are a little bit different from gold exploration companies. And really what's at the heart of it is the fact that there's so few silver equities. And what's different about gold is if you think about it, gold has been just coming out of a difficult 10 years where it was very difficult for companies to, the gold price were low, but at any given time, the majority of gold companies have been making money. And that has not been the case for the silver, especially for the primary silver producers. They've been producing at either break even or a little bit, in some years at a loss. So as a result of that, there has been very little money invested in the sector. And, the mid-tiers have had very little capital to explore, and there's very few new discoveries in recent years. To tell a little bit about our management, we have, as I mentioned, Peter McGaw is the lead technical advisor in the company, but we have a team of Mexican geologists who have work experience with Mag Silver and with Pan American Silver. And then our chairman is Peter Jones, who was formerly the CEO of Hudbay Minerals. I think Peter McGaw, a lot of people are familiar with him, incredible track record of discoveries. He has 3 major discoveries for Mag Silver, and then has received numerous awards. And Doug Kerwin, who was the VP of Exploration for Ivanhoe, is also in our advisory board. So let me go ahead and tell you about our flagship asset, Gigi. This is an asset that sits in the Santa Eulalia district, which historically has been in continuous production since 1700s, all the way to today. And it has produced a staggering 500 million ounces of silver, where the grade of the silver is 310 grams per ton silver with 15% lead zinc combined. So very high tonnage. And this is actually a CRD system, carbonate replacement deposit. And it is actually one of the largest systems in North America, certainly the largest system in Mexico. And what's unique about the whole district is that 500 million ounces of silver that I've described to you has come primarily from the upper part of the CRD, which is the chimneys. And what we've done is Max Silver was able to track the continuation of those chimneys into the property that we now hold, which is everything you see in the yellow, to give you a sense of where we sit next to the two producing mines to our east and west. It's really just from this cluster of drilling that Max Silver did, which validated an extension of the San Antonio mine. It's about maybe 300-400 meters to the entrance of the underground, and the same thing to our east. So we've traced those chimneys into our area, and what we're looking for now is the skarn. And typically in these CRD systems in North America, if you had 500 million ounces of silver in the chimneys alone, the skarn typically would have larger tonnage. So we're looking for a big target. This is what it looks like from the side. You see here the Potosi mine, which is to our east. It's about 20, I think it's about 20 different levels, starting at surface and then going up to about a kilometer. And there's numerous indicators, both at surface, both through drilling that the two producing mines have done at depth, as well as geophysics. You see here one of many geophysics surveys that Max Silver took in 2006, and they show very strong anomalies that have never been tested with drilling. What we did over the last 6 months was reinterpret the geophysics, put together all the historic information, including Max Silver's drilling in the property. We did extensive mapping, satellite imagery, and with those we came up with a list of drill targets. We're just in the final stages of receiving our drill permits. We believe that we'll have them in hand imminently. And as soon as we do, we also have our drill contract ready, and we're ready to go. We'll be doing 10,000 meters of drilling at least this fall. So that's the Gigi project, and obviously the main focus of the company at the moment. However, we do have 3 more projects, and they're all of them have the same philosophy I shared with you at the beginning: high-grade silver with district scale. This one is the Batopilas project. It's an amazing asset. It was formerly Mexico's highest grade producing silver mine, produced 350 million ounces of silver, where the average grade of the silver was 1.5 kilos per ton. It has an incredible story as well, the way that it was started. It was a public company in the US. You can see in this picture what a month's worth of production looked like in 1906. And this mine did not close down because it was depleted, but it closed down because of the revolution in 1906. You can see here what Peter McGaw and Max Silver did was when NAFTA was signed in the mid-90s and Canadian companies came back to do exploration in Mexico, they staked the old mine, and you can see a blow-up image of the old mine, and you see the tunnel in green is as far as they got before the war. And then there's about 30 odd veins that are known in the district that have never been either drilled or there's some artisanal production that has come out of it, and is consistent with that kilo per ton of silver and above. Max Silver did do a few thousand meters of drilling this property and came up with some incredibly high grade silver. So what our team is doing at the moment is they're at site generating drill targets, reinterpreting the old data, and the idea is to drill this property in early 2021. A new acquisition as well that we announced 2 months ago, it's the La Reyna project. It's very close to our Gigi asset, about 90 kilometers away. It's a 4-kilometer epithermal silver vein that the Spanish mined from surface to about 100 meters. After 100 meters, it couldn't go any deeper. It's a high-grade production historically, and what we realize is that typically in these systems, the mineralization goes quite a few hundred meters longer. We are just in the process of doing an extensive mapping and sampling campaign. There's some obvious targets here, and we'll have this property drill ready by the beginning of next year. And finally, the Medicine Springs project, a new acquisition we announced. We just completed it yesterday, as a matter of fact. And this is an asset that's in Nevada. We thought it was quite interesting because it's almost identical to our Gigi asset, our flagship asset, also in the same family of assets as a Taylor deposit in Arizona. It's an asset that's in the Carlin trend, and it was drilled in the 80s for gold. And really what they found is a CRD, the upper part of a CRD system. It has high-grade intersects that were drilled to a very shallow depth, however, with high-grade silver. We are in the process of evaluating the historic work, as well as the work that was done by the company that had it previous to us. But this one actually has valid drill permits. And I think one easy thing that we've already identified is, going through the high-grade silver intersects, because they were looking for gold. They went very shallow, so we can go a lot deeper and see how long it continues. So I've run out of time, but just in summary, the big catalyst for the company is our drill campaign that's going to start shortly, 10,000 meters at Gigi, and then having our other 3 assets drill ready early next year.